Hello and welcome to the Off the Clock Show. I'm joined today with Marty Hill from hyperClean and Pipes and Polishing Podcast. And I always forget to do this, but you always did such a great job. How can they find you, Marty?
Yeah.
That's
At
the one thing.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks. At hyperClean store on most platforms. Best way to go. Like, as you have a Facebook group, we also do too. hyperClean specialist, or shoot us a text direct 918-800-1188. Yeah, thanks.
Good stuff. No problem. Yeah, it was the one thing I was like, there's some key ingredient missing here. And I was like, oh yeah. But good stuff. And I myself, of course, Shawn from OrbisX. You can find me at orbisx.com or just Google the best and only CRM you need for your business, and we will pop up. So that probably wouldn't happen depending on your jurisdiction, but it will soon. So what are we drinking today there, Marty?
All right, man. So this weekend, the girlfriend went out on a little bit of a venture, and she got a pack of Trulies that is their margarita. Well, so they're mimicking margaritas with these. And this is a strawberry hibiscus margarita.
Nice.
And as Truly style, right? I mean, it's good, it's clean, but it just needs a little extra. So I've wanted to throw in a little bit of tequila, right? Because it's margarita. Yeah. I don't have tequila, but I had some of these up here, and I was like, you know what? I bet you the captain will do just fine.
Yeah,
we'll make a little Captain Truly.
Right on.
Yeah, that's better than the water I tried. That's better than the water, but it's still not right.
It's still not. Yeah. No, with the margarita, you need some tequila. Yeah.
You taste strawberry and rum, and I know those sound pretty good, but they just don't really.
They're good individually, but I don't know about the mix. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm joining you on that train with some rum, but no strawberry. That's the. So question though,
maybe a strawberry daiquiri. You could definitely do that. You could definitely do a strawberry daiquiri. We think that these would be perfect if you just threw them in some blender, put a little bit of ice, and then whatever alcohol you wanted, and they would make a really great margarita.
Yeah. Now, is it bubbly at all? Like carbonated or no?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's Truly. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I figured they would, but sometimes depending on the mixture of a drink, when you add the bubbles.
Yeah, that's just a harsh flavor. I don't know. That didn't quite work.
Yeah,
I keep playing with these fun experiments on this podcast. That's what I'll do.
Yeah. It's off the clock, man. So
we're off the clock. We're just figuring things out.
Yeah, exactly. So how was your weekend though?
Man, we chilled. We've got
nice. Chill is good.
We've got a pretty rough week about to start tomorrow. 80-90% chance. Strong. We're at high 24.
Wow.
So for here, that's massive, you guys, it's like, it's another day in paradise, but for us, it's a big deal. So we're hunkering down, this weekend, we didn't really do much at all. We literally just, enjoyed our time together.
Yeah. Wink. Yeah. Netflix and chill, but without the Netflix.
Definitely.
But no, right on, man. Yeah, us, it was pretty quiet too. We had the 4-day weekend though. Yesterday was what they call Family Day in Canada. They I don't know if it's Canada or if it's just Ontario, but I think it's Canada. They force you to take a day off, basically. Say like, no, spend some time with family and so on and so forth, and then recharge things. To be honest, I think the big reason they do it is because most people, they go through Christmas, they go through January, and then their credit card bills hit in February. So we used to have the highest suicide rates in February. And so I think they were like, fuck it, we need a holiday forced. And then, so Family Day happens. And then, cause you got to think like people are hit with a lot of stuff, they have Valentine's Day. And then right after that, it's like, okay, Family Day. Like, look, motherfucker, if you made it this far, take a day.
I don't, Did we talk about Valentine's Day last time? I don't remember.
We touched on a little bit. Yeah,
that was brutal. That was brutal. I didn't do so well on Valentine's Day.
You had massive plans, right? You hired one of those people at Right in the Sky.
No. I didn't do so well. Good. Let's skip over Valentine's Day.
Let's skip over. Yeah.
I was the guy in the store the next day having to make up for Valentine's.
Oh shit. Yeah.
Not fun.
Everyone always forgets that holiday though, February 15th. Makeup day. See, it's a thing.
Yeah.
Man, that's awesome though. Yeah. So it was good. We spent some downtime, which is good for me because usually my work schedule, typical entrepreneur, round the clock. So it was nice. I literally like turned my phone on. Usually it's on silent, but I put it on DND as well. So it was just like do not even disturb. I didn't get any messages, nothing. It was nice. 24 hours of just complete silence. So I played Barbies with one of my daughters. That was.
Oh yeah, what'd you play?
Yeah, she has these like Barbie campers, the dream house, like everything a little plain. What I learned from that experience, though, she told me that I'm horrible to play Barbies with. Because I didn't know where things go, and I'm like putting stuff in the wrong places and things. And like she had shopping baskets, I was throwing them in the back of this little Jeep she had. She's like, no, they don't go there. We have to build the supermarket first. I'm like, well, I didn't understand the rules when we sat down. But so there
are technicalities to it.
There are, yeah. But I mean, being a girl dad, when your daughter asks you, let's have a tea party, you ask her what she wants in her tea.
Yeah, that's why I got my kids started playing video games as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
So we played we were on Fortnite when it first came out. We messed around on social quite a bit. They were on music.ly.
Oh yeah. That later became something, but
TikTok.
That's what. Oh, okay. I knew it became something,
but we were on that early. We spent a lot of time working on that we spent and we played a lot of video games. This is now
nice.
We still, I mean, my daughters play with my girlfriend's son on a regular basis.
That's amazing though.
Yeah. The other night they were up till 3 a.m. So, we were like, hey,
geez.
You hate being that parent, but at the same time, you're like,
yeah.
Shouldn't
modern parenting. Yeah, and modern parenting though is a lot different than how things were before, right? Like imagine if some people still live on farms, but imagine if you worked on a farm, right? And your kids help out with all the farm activities, and by like 5 o'clock they're exhausted. You know what I mean? Versus like my kids, they have them in school during the day, they're just sitting around gym for maybe 30 minutes to an hour. They get home, they're just like wound up, full of energy. And that's at the point where like my energy level is starting to go down. You know what I mean? So yeah, activities like that help. But I'm fortunate that my daughter, it's not a video game per se, but she's addicted to Duolingo. So my daughter, she speaks French and English, and she's learning Spanish as well. But she's technically still learning French because she's in a French school. So she does French on Duolingo, that app. And so I just hear it going ding, ding, ding every time she gets it right. But she'll play that thing for hours, man. It's pretty amazing. Yeah. Nice. And then the downside is she makes fun of me when I try and speak French. So that's the downside, my last name is French, so I should, like my mother, she speaks French. I really should. But it just wasn't in the cards for me,
Yeah, me neither, man. I've tried. I think it's a skill that some people have of being a linguist. I just, like I've joked with you, man, I took 7 years of Spanish.
Yeah. When you first told me that, I was thinking like your Spanish teacher must have been really hot. Like she was.
No. Now my Portuguese tutor right now is my live-in tutor, and she's hot.
See, beautiful.
But I still don't teach that. I still don't learn that very well. Like I still don't know what they're saying. Like not doing too well, but we'll get there eventually one of these days.
Yeah, one of these days. Exactly. You just need to know a few key things, and then you're good. Just to navigate around. Yeah. That's awesome, man. So okay, so we got some questions today in the group. Cool. So I asked some people before. I said, what kind of stuff you want to know. Got some good answers, good questions. One of the big ones that someone was wondering is about marketing companies. And so both of us, different ends of the spectrum in terms of the detailing industry. We do marketing in various ways. We also have detailing businesses as well where we do marketing. And it's great for people that can do it themselves or want to invest that time to do it themselves. They may or may not get the greatest results. The question was, how can you trust a company, or how do you interview a company or companies to find a good fit, and what should you look for? What kind of questions to ask, so on and so forth. So if we could help them on that journey, that would be stellar for some of these guys.
I agree. I don't know if they'll like my answer. How do you interview a marketing company? Well, you let them do the interview because they're going to try and sell you. So you let them try and sell you, and just understand, ask questions, and try and figure out if what they're saying will actually plug and play into your business.
Yeah, 100%.
How are you going to invest $5,000 into it and not knowing about it?
Yeah.
Therein lies the problem. Marketing companies are going to promise everything. Every marketing company you'll talk to, they're going to get you number one on Google.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Guaranteed. Yeah.
Guaranteed. 6 months, in 6 months, in a year, in 2 years, you'll be there. And you go, yeah, but I'm dumping $5,000 in a month with you and I'm going to hope to be there in a year.
Yeah.
For some people that makes sense. So you can't say no. Like there's some people like $5,000 is no problem because in a year I've only spent what, 60 grand, but I'm making 100 grand a month off of that.
So then who cares? I'll spend that.
So then who cares
all the time?
Yeah. Who cares? But if you're young in business and young going, $5,000's a lot, True. We inside our company, we question the $5,000, is it benefiting? Is it moving the needle? We just rolled out a new website. Is that really going to in a year generate the millions X of that they promise? I don't know. But true. You have to do it. Yeah. I mean, you have to market. You have to have help. I talked about this yesterday on the Pints of Polishing podcast episode where, not this specific, but it was more of how do you sell coatings? How do you do there's all different ways. You can go out and do it learning. If you're good at sales, right? If you're crafted, you have that gift of tongue and you know how to talk to people and you can go through bullshitting. You can talk about this. You can handle objections. You can then push somebody for a sale and you can lean on them to get your sale. If you're that kind of guy and you've got that inside of you,
then go out and sell.
I would say you don't need anybody. However, if you're not that guy, that $5,000 might be, you're either going to need to hire somebody like that 100%. Guy, or you're going to need to move it over to a company that will help do that for you. There's no one way. That's why we always say there's no one way. There's a lot of different ways of doing it. If you're that guy, you don't need the $5,000. If you don't have that guy and you can't hire that guy and you're not that guy that's a salesman, you need to pay somebody.
It's true. Yeah. And you brought up a good point because here's a good question I always ask people when they're asking me for consulting advice. I say, what hand do you write with? So Marty, what hand do you write with?
I mostly write with my right.
Okay, perfect.
Through my stenosis and what I've been doing, I'm actually having to reprogram my brain to my muscles. So there's times I'm actually writing with my left hand just to make myself get in a different position with my body, learn something a little different.
And it unlocks a different part of your brain
Bingo.
Too. So, yeah, 100%. Okay, and that's absolutely what I do as well because I'm ambidextrous. I do it for different reasons, but primarily I'll do one thing with one hand and I choose that as the preference. And so I say the same thing to people. I say, okay, so if you realize you're better with one hand to do a certain task, you need to take a look at your business and say, am I really good at selling, for example? And if you are, and you can sell coatings all day, then maybe you're not the person that should be doing the coatings and hire someone to do the coatings. Now, if you're really good at the coatings and can't sell, you shouldn't be doing the selling either. So really, you need to clearly define what your job is. And that's why job titles exist, is find out what you're good at. So that $5,000 would likely, for most of these guys, be better put towards someone that's going to help with the sales side. But I think they also need to understand that the advertising is different from the sales process. That just gets people into the funnel. We've talked extensively about funnels. Check that out in the Pints of Polishing podcast as well. I'm sure I can dig up some links here and post them afterwards. But you need to figure out what your skill set is and how you fit into your own funnel for the sales process. And so I think that when it comes to the $5,000, interviewing that person, what you're looking for is them to fill your weaknesses. And ideally, you're not going to play a big role in that part. So let's say you're not good at selling. So find a company that can do the advertising, but that's not the selling part. They're going to bring you the customer, but you still have to close them. So they're still kind of floating in this limbo. Should I buy? Should I not buy? They're just a warm lead at that point. If you're not good at selling, hire someone else for that part of the process too. Because I see it all the time, companies that jump ship on one marketing company to try another one, then another one, then another one. And they ultimately say, oh, these marketing companies don't work. And it's like, well, did they bring you leads? What did you do with the leads? And if they weren't bringing you leads, what kind of process were you playing in there as well, saying like, we got to change things up? because they're going to do ultimately what you tell them to do. If you say, I want you to target coatings, they're going to target coatings. But maybe what you need to do is partner with a guy that does detailing. If you don't do detailing, bring in people that for details, give him 100% of the business, but you focus on selling them the coating side or something. Like, there's lots of ways to do this. And that's where, as Marty was saying, there is no right or wrong way to do this, but taking a look at your whole process, you're going to be able to see how that works. And when it comes to pricing, because that's a big thing, right? Like, is a 5K worth it? The best way to determine what that's worth is to go into Google AdWords and figure out what it would be if you did pay-per-click. See what Google, they're going to guarantee you a #1 spot. Google's the only one that can, but you're going to pay them for it. So they're going to say, and they actually don't even guarantee you #1. They'll say it's an auction. You're going to be maybe 1, maybe 3, maybe 6, who knows, but you're paying for that spot. Based on what that cost is, you're going to have a good idea of what that top position is worth. So if someone says, yeah, I'll get you top positions for, like $500 a month, but Google's charging $1,500 a month for those clicks to be in that same spot. How is this guy able to like undercut Google to get you this, top performing place? And then you have to also factor in, are there already 10 people there? So those 10 people have to go somewhere now. They have to get displaced. So is your site better than theirs? What's your expectation to get there? How long did it take them to get there? So on and so forth. Take a look at the marketing companies your competitors are using and maybe interview them and get some feedback from them as if you're a client, see what they say. So there's lots of ways to interview those companies, I would say.
There is. And you could also, even if somebody would like to think of themselves as an entrepreneur, it's the word that everybody wants to achieve. Yeah. Maybe if you are, and maybe if you have those desires, you won't just do the exact same thing that everybody else is doing. Maybe you'll go find marketing in different forms, which is what we suggest to detailers at hyperClean. Go create a local network of people around your area. Go be active in Facebook groups that are moms of Tulsa, like, car guys in South Carolina. I mean, there's millions of Facebook groups that are people in your local area that are online and they're chatting.
True.
Well,
there's
if you're in
clubs,
sales, if you're in sales, it's the best place for you to be because you just chat with people. Yeah. You don't even have to try and sell them. Don't try and sell them. Just chat with people.
Yeah. And
get people clicking your links.
Yeah, it's going to naturally come up like, oh, what's this guy do? They're going to check out your profile and this and that.
Maybe in a month, right? Yeah. Maybe in 2 months, right? It doesn't happen next week. You got to put time in it, but go do that. We've got people that listen to the Pints of Polishing podcast that then took our advice at Mobile Tech when I've talked about it and different places where, hey, you should go create a local podcast for your area, for your town.
Talk about something that's specific.
Yes,
to your area.
Well, just go interview shops, go eat at diners, go to bars you like, go wherever you like to go and just talk to people.
Yeah.
It's amazing how many people want to come onto the podcast. You'll get people start lining up. And, the people that have done this, the people that have listened to us and have done it, they're sending back messages like, hey, I recorded 15 podcasts and every podcast I sell. So sometimes we'll sell more than one, but they every single time they record, whether it's the guest or somebody around, they always get a service sold. And it's like, if you can't get to the top of Google and you don't have the 5K, but you're that big word, that entrepreneur guy, then go create new ways of making sales. Go figure out other ways of doing it.
Yeah, because Google wasn't always there, but businesses were there. So how did they do things? And sometimes going back to the basics is key. And that's where one thing I put in my book, the detailing masterclass, was I had a whole section on marketing, and there was only one chapter that touched on online marketing stuff, because everything else is still very much a viable option. Like, printed flyers. We go to businesses nearby and we set up like referral programs with them, or we say like, give us a stack of business cards. We'll give you a stack and just put it at your counter, things like that. And it's kind of a one-time thing. You go there, you drop it off. And then when they run out of cards, you go drop it again. One thing worked out really well for us was the coffee shop across the street from us. Unfortunately, COVID took them out. But when they were around, we set up with them where we didn't have a waiting room in the beginning.
Oh, and perfect.
So I was like, well, instead of me, rushing and spending a bunch of money on a waiting room, we weren't even sure where we wanted it in the unit. I said, let's just pace ourselves, and it's winter most times. So do people want to sit here in a cold waiting room, or do we want to send them somewhere where they can get, a nice hot sandwich or something, So partnered with him, and we basically he gave us coffee at cost. And then we had these cards. So we would just pay him once a month for however many cards were redeemed. And we would tell people, like, listen, we don't have a waiting room right now, but go across the street, there's free Wi-Fi, and you get a free coffee on us. And most times they were buying lunch. So he was happy because they were paying out of pocket for that. He was giving us the coffee at cost. So for us, it was a lot cheaper than maintaining a waiting room, that's for sure. So it made a lot more sense for us. So little things like that. We had a great relationship with him. It's sad that, he's gone now, but that was COVID. What can you do? But sorry, that was our government. What can you sorry, shots fired. But yeah, I think there's a lot of alternative ways. People get so focused and entrenched in, I have to be number one in Google. And for the first 2 years of my shop's existence, we were like page 8 or something like that. And I've got my own marketing company, but we didn't put our focus there in the beginning because we would have consumed so much of our time and budget, but we wouldn't have had the business coming in. So instead we focused other areas. Now we're on the first page, which is great, but that took some time to get there. So if you're in need of instant results, you've got to do the pay-per-click or something like that. And the SEO side, that's kind of a longer term play for you. So I wouldn't focus too much on that right in the beginning. If you need jobs tomorrow, there's other much better ways to get them for sure. Yeah. So yeah, I think interviewing companies can be tough, but you're absolutely right. Last thing I'll touch on that, and we'll jump into another question, is that Marty's absolutely right. When talking to them, don't focus so much on feeding them the questions or the answers. Just let them give you their pitch, and then say, and be upfront. We're interviewing 5 companies, and we'll let you know once we hear your pitch. Now it's your turn to talk, go. And then hear their pitch, watch their slide deck. Be very, very wary, though, of people that make guarantees. Google even has, because my marketing agency, we're an authorized Google partner, and they have made it very clear in their terms and conditions that to be an authorized Google partner, you cannot make guarantees of top 10 results. It's against their policies. They'll boot you out. And the reason is because nobody can guarantee that. They change their algorithms all the time. Google doesn't even want to guarantee that because they're going to get slapped with one of those monopoly lawsuits or whatever it is, where they control the data too much. So just be careful of people that make those outlandish claims that we guarantee 50 leads a month. Like, first off, how good are your leads? Do you have two shops I could call and just ask them, like, hey, how are things going? If they don't have references. Like, if you were hiring a guy to do detailing, you're probably going to call his last job or maybe look it up or something like that. Why wouldn't you do the same thing for the marketing agency you're going to hand over $5,000 to? Just, do a little bit of research. But that's my 2 cents in 2 minutes or less. So one of our other questions, though, was, and this is where I don't have too much expertise because it's mobile detailing, but a little bit. I mean, in my opinion, detailing is still detailing, whether the car's at our shop or not. Someone asked how they can speed up their mobile detailing time. So I'm not sure if the mobile side was a big thing for you, Marty, as well, but
yeah, I still service customers mobily,
okay.
People that we started, I started my mobile business 2002. We had a gentleman that we just cleaned up a Range Rover and a Mercedes this past weekend. Beautiful. I've had him as a customer since 2003.
Amazing. Holy shit.
So we still do mobile.
Yeah.
Even now, right? Nick, my business partner, still runs a massive mobile company. So we're very entrenched into, as a company, hyperClean, we're very entrenched into mobile. It's
beautiful.
How it's kind of who we are. I was talking to earlier today a guy named Hank who has just started on. He has a shop as well as a mobile company, and he just signed on at Mobile Tech to be one of our distributors for hyperClean.
No way.
And
congrats.
We were talking through, congrats for him
both
too.
Of you. Yeah, I was just about to say to both of you.
Yeah. Because he's down in the Daytona Beach area, and what he's going to do with Slick and some of our products
with the no streaks. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, for the car show people, the car clubs, all that type of stuff, right? I mean, he's going to dominate. He's going to kill it. So, but he was talking about in his mobile business, what he's running into is the struggle of how do you actually, which is basically the same thing, how do you actually make money at mobile because it's taking so much time.
Yeah, with the setup, travel.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And his big deal was he's just sending a guy or two guys out, clean a couple cars over here. They'll go over here and clean a car. They'll drive over here. And he's like, by the time I pay them and I've got travel and he's like, I'm not making anything.
Yeah.
Like, I get it, man. He goes, if we get a $200-$300 ticket, yeah, we'll make some money. But maintenance for him was just, it's non-existent. He's almost wanting out of it.
Yeah. It's almost just keeping the customer for if they need something bigger done or a referral or something, right? Yeah.
Right. And it's like, no, man, there's a massive business in mobile detailing on the maintenance side. Said your trick and what you're going to need to do is go into places that you don't just clean a car. You don't just clean
multiple
two cars. Yes. In the neighborhood, if you got one place that you're doing, then put a little sign out, go meet, like we've talked about, meet the neighbors that are walking their dog. There's all different ways you can meet people in a high-end neighborhood, but your idea is going to be how to speed up and make money at mobile is to have more than one vehicle in an area. It is tough to go travel and do all that for one car. You don't even do so great at two cars. But if you can be in a neighborhood that you're cleaning 5 or 6 cars, man, that's a great day. Or I did mobile in settings where it was while you work, we shine, right? Like we would go into these office complexes.
Yes.
There you go. And we would be there every 2 weeks. We would send them a notice, 2 or 3 days before. Hey, go to our website and sign up. By the way, this was 2003, 4.
Jeez. Yeah.
Websites and go to our website to sign up wasn't the big deal back then.
Yeah.
So, it was, go to our website and sign up. And I would just print out this big list of everybody, what services they wanted. I would show up and have 10, 12, 15 cars per day that I would go work on. And
beautiful.
And boom,
so that way you can pump them all out. I always wondered that is a lot of people focus first on how do I streamline the actual detail itself? And I always thought when it's mobile, the first thing you have to streamline is the location logistics side of it. Because like at our shop, we don't really have to streamline that because they're coming to us. But our mobile stuff that we do is like windshields. And so what we started doing is when we were doing our windshields, instead of saying, okay, what time works for you? And they would say like, oh, Tuesday, we started doing it a little differently. And what we would say is we're actually going to be servicing another vehicle in your area on Thursday. And does that work for you? And then if they're like, well, no, Tuesday would be better. Well, unfortunately, Tuesday we're not there, but we have these days available next week instead. So we would do things like that so that we knew, let's say in the west end of the city, every Thursday, we were going to have a mobile guy there. So we would try and, pool those jobs together instead of having him going back and forth all over the place. I always figured it would make, that's, the logical way to streamline things initially is cluster your jobs. So you decide, like you're the business owner, you decide your schedule. You can say, okay, no, I'm going to have a mobile crew there in this end of the city on, Thursdays and Fridays. So anyone that lives there that calls in, that's when you're booking those people in. And then somewhere else you book them, the other days, stuff like that. That's what I would streamline first if it was me. And then I would focus on the actual detail itself. From my perspective, not doing mobile detailing, I would assume the best thing to do would be streamlining your unit, like the actual, if it's a van or a trailer, whatever it is, I would basically turn that into a shop that doesn't require setup all the time. But I would literally, if I could, cut a hole in the side of it and I would run a hose to my extractor so I don't even have to take the extractor out. That's what I would literally do. And I would put a little flap on it so I can close it, lock it. And then when I need it, open that up, pull the hose out. Like think of a fire truck. They don't pull out big drums of water and then hook up shit to it. They've got water in the truck and they pull out the hose. That's exactly what I would do. It just seems to make the most sense. And I would make sure that whatever like vehicle or trailer, whatever could accommodate that kind of a setup. So that's
and if you wanted to actually just take water out of the mix, that's another way to save time. Not every car that, especially on a mobile detailing and if you're going to run a maintenance, which is really where I think mobile detailing has its greatest success is as a maintenance service. If you're going to do that, those cars generally don't have to be power washed and then foamed and then mitted and then dried. And A lot of those times you could just use our Eco One and use it either in a rinseless or a waterless type format. But I love it as rinseless. I mean, you spray down a little pre-spray, come back. We like to use our Cookie Monster towels, get your rinseless bucket, and you just go to town. I mean, you can have that car done, washed, cleaned, dried, streak-free in 15 to 20 minutes.
Beautiful.
Whereas generally, yeah,
I saw you do
less.
that actually. You were going away. It was a long weekend. You were prepping your Jeep, and I think it was yours or a Jeep. You were doing it before some weekend. You were going on a road trip or something. And I actually, that was the first time I saw it in action. And then that's when I picked up those gallons from you, because that stuff, that impressed me. You know, I mean, where we live, like, we have water just on demand. Like, it's plentiful.
I get it.
You know what I mean?
But it's not really, in this setting, it's not really to conserve water. In this setting, it's to conserve time. Yes. I mean, if the car doesn't have a bunch of mud and it's not nasty, I mean, so you could save 20 to 30 minutes per express detail by simply switching to Eco One. I mean, that would save you a lot of time. The other thing that we say too is, if you're doing maintenance, go ahead and use hyperClean Slick after every wash. It's going to keep the car protected. It speeds up your drying time, whether that's rinseless or traditional. And it's adding protection down so that the next time you go to clean the car, it's not going to be as dirty. It's not going to take you as long. I used to put down sealants. If somebody joined in with our, basically subscription type service, they would get a sealant when we first did the car, because
it's going to make your life easier.
Exactly. It took me an extra 45 minutes, an hour maybe, but I knew that the next 3 months, my washing was going to be so much faster. Like, it made sense. 100%. And then that's what we did. After every wash, we always put something back down. In this situation, use hyperClean Slick. It's going to be streak free, and it's going to save you a lot of time.
It's true. Yeah. So that actually sped up so we have this thing we call a mini detail. So we don't like any vehicle to leave dirty. And the thing is that we don't only do detailing. So if someone comes in for a windshield replacement, for example, when that car leaves, the inside might be dirty still, but the outside's going to leave clean. And the reason is because we don't want anyone walking by, they see, detailing shop, and then they see a car leaving and it's filthy on the outside. So it's just not a good look. So we said, no, we want to make sure they're clean. And it also separated us from the other windshield replacement guys, because they didn't do detailing at all. So we could now say, come to our shop and you get a free mini detail. And it's just a quick light vacuum inside. We wipe down the dash, and then basically the outside, we clean the outside. We were doing it pressure washer, dry the whole thing and everything. And what we found is that it was literally, our guy would change and replace the windshield in 25 minutes, start to finish. And then our guys, though, were taking the same amount of time to clean the outside. And I was like, this is madness. We got to figure something else out. So now our mini detail is done exactly that way. And so that's the product we're using. So even though we have water on demand, it just ended up being faster for us to do it that way. So if that can work for us in a shop environment, for sure, it'll do the same thing outdoors as well, especially in places where, guys don't have to deal with the kind of weather we have to deal with. Like mobile detailing here, I don't even know how they do it. Some guys do it, but I don't know how, because like right now, like it's like minus 19. It's just not for me. So I don't know, but some people do it, in high rises or something like that, in the, apartment complexes. But I think that's the trick, is using the right products, as Marty had mentioned. And so Marty, just run through that list again for people that are listening. So top 3 products you think that someone could use right now to speed up their detail by at least 15 minutes.
Yeah. Good call. hyperClean Eco One. Use that in a waterless or rinseless setting. Always dry, whether you're traditional washing or Eco One, dry with hyperClean Slick. And then definitely, if you want to put down Uno, hyperClean Uno is a 1-year protectant. If anybody that you're going to put into a maintenance program, it's going to take you 30 minutes to apply hyperClean Uno. It's quick, it's easy, and it's a 1-year ceramic protection. You put that down and then you wash it that way. You'll be in and out in 30 to 45 minutes. Easy.
100%. And you know what? I got to touch on that Uno actually real quick, so we got a bottle of Uno from you, and you want to know what we used it for? So, we got a few bottles, but one of them we set aside, our Headlight Restorations. So we
Yeah.
do the headlight restorations. I know you
Mhm.
have a glass one too, but we use this one.
No,
because
but
we
yeah,
figured it was
yeah,
better for the plastics. And so what
yeah.
we did is we said, listen, we took our price. We used to do $40 per headlight. Okay, if you were getting just one done, happened, or $60 for the pair. We bumped the price up to $100 and included the coating. And we've been selling the exact same quantity, but the price is almost doubled. And it's just because, and you know how little of the bottle you have to use for a pair
Yeah,
of
very little,
headlights?
like drops.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. And so, but for the customer, the end user, they're over the moon. They're like, oh wow, I even get a protective coating on top of it. They're really happy, you know. And for us, it's like, what's the cost added on there? I don't know, maybe $3. I doubt it, but probably 30 cents actually. That's our cost add, I think, on that. You know, so little things like that that you can do doesn't increase your time, but it'll increase the money. So at least if you were to, let's say, go do a mobile job, one of the questions you should ask the guy, depending on the age of the vehicle, let's say the vehicle's 5 years old, pay attention to that and say, what's the condition of your headlights right now? Do you find it hard to see at night? If he says yes, be like, listen, I can be there on Tuesday, no problem. But I would like to, take care of your headlights too, so that your visibility at night's a little bit better, stuff like that. And we just got this product in. It's amazing. We can coat them after. It's gonna, keep them clean, all this kind of jazz. Next thing you know, that job you were going to, you don't have to worry so much about streamlining it because you just boosted the ticket price with a 30-cent upsell that's going to bring you an extra $100. So there's those ways of streamlining as well, is that just let the inefficiencies be what they are at times, but raise the ticket price. And then what you'll find is that you'll get faster as you clean interiors, so on and so forth, with the right rig, the right unit. But those kind of upsells can be a way of, I say, improving efficiency, because you're getting more money for the same time that you're spending there. So it's kind of like you just bought time, basically. Yeah. So good recommendations on the product, by the way. Yeah, and actually, Slick's on my truck right now. I brought it in.
Yeah.
My guy Bobby loves that stuff. Oh my god, like I can't get him enough. Seriously, he's like, yeah, but it's awesome. Yeah, he loves it. He pretty much has been asking for all the black vehicles. He's like, anything dark colored, he's like, give it to me. He just loves the final result of it, So same thing. My truck is black, so he just he loves it. But the other guy that we have, Jafar, he he prefers the white vehicles. He likes brake dust removal. No clue why, but anyway, we found what they liked, and we're like, hey, fuck, lean into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He likes when it turns purple, and then he can wipe it off, and like, anyway.
Yeah, he'll love Fuego then. He'll love Fuego.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, because you just launched that one, right?
Yeah, we just launched it. Yeah.
We actually haven't had a chance to test that one out yet.
No, but yeah, he'll love it. Absolutely love it.
Okay,
yeah.
we'll talk after this. I'm gonna have to.
Yeah, let's do.
Yeah, because right now, like the stuff we're using, it was just something that was readily available because with our border shutdowns and stuff. But what I will say is that another way to streamline things is try and use things from similar suppliers or one supplier if possible. Just another way to streamline things, because I know for us, like if I was to like call you and get a pallet of stuff, I can get everything I need, like, okay, boom, 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 one shipment that comes, instead of having to like track down this place or that place and, oh shit, this place is out of this, now what do I do? And you're spending a lot more admin time as well. So there's that side of your business, that the mobile side, you could really streamline things by using one product line. You could probably get rid of half of your products if you're using products that are designed to work together as well. So
exactly.
All right, so that was my last note on that. All right, I'm gonna go pick up the kids. Enjoy the rest of your strawberry hibiscus.
Yeah, it's rough, man. That's a rough go. I don't know that I would recommend that for people. Yeah.
Well, I highly recommend Rum on the Rocks. So that's but good stuff, Marty. Always a pleasure. So same time next week. We'll see you Tuesday. Have yourself a good week. And after this, we'll talk about Fuego. All right, sounds good.
Definitely.
All
see you, bro.
Yeah.